Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulaiman Rahim here, Messenger of the Covenant, the Crusher. Welcome, brothers and sisters. Special presentation for you today. We're working on it for several days, actually a week, actually. It's timeline, brothers and sisters. Timeline. Timeline to Armageddon. Timeline to the resurrection. Timeline to apocalypse. Brothers and sisters, it says they would deceive the whole world, and they have. And the target of deception is you. Isn't it amazing? All these procrastinators tell you they know the scriptures and everything else. They can tell you all the details about when Jesus came and how America's a promised land and all that thing, all those things, right? But somehow they leave you out of it. How are you? Why you don't fit? I mean, you got, of all the events that's happened in the last 2,000 years, what's happened to us is probably one of the most significant. And this nation was probably one of the most significant events, yet they leave it out. Or they didn't leave it out while they had you in chain slavery, because they said, they explained it by saying, you're ham. You're not really human, you was cursed black. Because all people are white, and you're black because you was cursed black. Cursed black. Cursed black. See? That's the story. They won't tell you that now because they don't want people to be racist. Because if they conclude you in history, they've had to say that or admit to who you really are. They can't do that because they leave you out. They talk about all the things, America's this, that, but somehow they leave you out. And if you brought in, that's CRT, it's a theory. But if you call a Holocaust a theory, they'll drum you out of the universe. You won't wake up in the morning. But the Holocaust that actually happens, documented. Leave it out. So isn't it amazing? They don't, because if they include that, everything falls apart. And that is a concept called a conscience of guilt. The fact they do knows that they know who we are. Because that's why I said false Israel, the counter Elijah Muhammad saying, they know who you are. But they can't bring themselves to admit it. They talk all around circle, make America. When was America great? When was America land of free, home, and the brave? When was that? Star Spangled Banner. When was that? The glorious flag that our mothers, who they were raping, when they looked up, that's the flag they saw. The stars and stripes. Well, he's being raped and sodomized. And while he's being whipped, he's whipped to the sound of the Star Spangled Banner. That's just whipped. Because that's his flag you saw in the pole. When he's being whipped and sodomized. They sodomized the men too. And when you was out in the fields, if you had the opportunity to look up, that's where you saw the stars and stripes. And the cross. I was watching this documentary and they said, the slave quarters they had on the coast of Africa, they said over each one of them was a church. Oh, each one of them was a church. So, and you believe these people really are worshiping a righteous, loving God? When their works are totally contrary, their works are the works of Satan. Look at their history. Or they said, when I was a child, they used to tell you the end does not justify the means. But now apparently it does. Because see, we got democracy. We got freedom all over the world. So all we did was worth it because look what we have achieved. You haven't achieved anything. Because you don't even have democracy because you don't have that. Ask yourself, if you had a nation that was rebellious and hard to deal with, hard hard to live in a civilized way, what kind of government would you have for them? A democracy. That's the kind of government you have for them. But you couldn't control them. That's a That's a government of a Satan. Satan of people that can't be civilized. Everybody do their own thing. Disrespectful. But they glorify everything they do. Everything they do. Oh, well, it's good. Somehow it's good. When they destroyed the Indians, oh, well, because Promised Land, they was just what do you call them? Heathen. And we was ham. They got justification for all of it. And you're the target of the ignorance. And you find these so-called Negro butts running around talking about, hey, think for myself. No, they don't. They don't have the ability to think for themselves. The only time they say that is when you say something to them. But when the master says something to them, hey, it's a law. That's by definition what a Negro butt is. And they got a oh man, do they have a awakening, a shock awakening for them? Because somehow they believe that when Son of Man shows up, he wants to save everybody. That's the lie they're telling you. You better read it again. He has his elect. He wants to save everybody. Quran tells you that. Because all these things right here is like a purging, furnace of affliction to burn up all the dross, right? The impurities. Because if you don't believe, that means you're not capable of making it to the hereafter. That means your mind's too weak. Because the truth is clear. Because once the seals are broken, the truth is clear. And you're going to see this in its timeline. So if you don't accept it, we don't care. Because that just shows you're not worthy. It shows you're not worthy to make it. And so you say, if that's a problem, have to get rid of you. You get rid of yourself. Because that's what's going to happen. We don't have to do it. Master's going to do it for us. Master will get rid of most of you for us. Your master's going to get rid of most of you for us. We don't have to do it. You say, that's the problem. You say, because you don't want to get on the ark? Fine. We're not going to shed a tear over you. It says, the hereafter is joy and happiness. It's not sorrow. So many Negroes, they got lost. It ain't going to be about that. It says, why? Why are people rejoicing? Why are people happy? Because your dumb ass is gone, finally. Because we finally got rid of your dumb ass with your bullshit. That's why we're rejoicing. That's part of rejoicing right there. Oh man, they been left behind, man. We don't sorry, so many of them lost. That's not hereafter. Because if you was left behind, right, it's because you couldn't make it. You wasn't ready for it to move on to the hereafter, move on to the future. Because you're stuck in the past. Some of you 5 and 10, 20, 30 years in the past. You have a lot of catching up to do, but you're not going to be able to do it. You don't understand this concept of time traveling. See, time travel is not by your watch. It's by converting energy from one form to another. That's what time. So that's how you. That's what time is. Time is converting energy from one form to another. If energy is converting, then there's no time. But that's why you create time. That's what time really is. And the believers, right? They taking this information. They creating time. See, they creating time. They creating a hereafter. And what do you create? You create your hell. You create your own hell. Because when you go to hell, you were created for yourselves. We didn't create it for you. You throwing your own self in the hell. We didn't create hell for you. You created it for yourself. You don't understand anything. You don't understand anything. You think you know. You don't understand anything. You create hell for yourself. The so-called American dream. That shit right there is false because no dream is real. So go for it. See? But we're taking the Promised Land Express airline. So you take the American Dream airline. Fine. We're not going to share a tear with you, brothers and sisters. You ever see me share a tear with you? I don't argue with you. I don't fight with you. I don't want to die for you. I don't want any money. Because it says a free gift. And you pay all these clowns with no anything, money, when it says it's a free gift. So why are they charging you money? When Jesus came, did he charge you anything? He gave you things. He didn't take anything from you. He gave you. He cultivated you. He He didn't take anything from you, put them in mansions and carrying on. He didn't do all that. So all this here is distractions. It's distractions. It's like same thing, the same concept with sperm goes into the female, right? Only one makes it. The rest of them got distracted. And only one makes it. Only one makes it, the one that focus. And we don't worry about the rest of them. Oh man, me and some got flushed down the toilet. That's so bad, my brother says. No, he move on. He don't even know about them. He moved on to the next creation. And they got flushed down the toilet. And the same process going on right now. There's only 144,000 you're going to make it. And the rest you're going to be flushed down the toilet. There's no skin off my back. It's your life. Not ours. So when I'm telling you, I'm trying to convince you, no. I'm telling you, so leave me the F alone. Stop sending me a dumbass message because I'm not interested. I don't read them. Right? So I don't think I'm worried about it. Don't think I'm worried about your rejection because your rejection just put a smile on my face. And that's one dumb Negro butt gone, out the way. Because when you make the creating time, see, the fools are a day behind you. Then they're 2 days behind you. Then 3 days behind you. After a week, a year behind you. After a while, they don't even know they're there. Because at some point in time, right, they ain't not moving at all. They're just dead. The graveyard full of people that couldn't make it. They couldn't keep up to the time. They were lost in the past. Graveyards full of people was lost in the past. All of them was lost in the past. And you're going to be lost in the past pretty soon too. Because we moved on to the future, brothers and sisters. So I'm going to go through this presentation here. And it's going to take a little while, but I'm not sure how much detail I'm going to get into. I'm just going to go through it. If I have to follow up on a redux, I will. But I want to give you a timeline here. And the main events. Because they tell you they know the angel. They don't know the angel. They don't know the revelation. They're guessing. They tell you, oh, they broke the seals, so they don't admit that. So how are you talking about something you don't even know? The seal's not broken unless you broke them. They say, well, Jesus 2,000 years ago broke. But if it didn't, why are you still trying to figure out what it means then? See, it's all bullshit. Stop the bullshit zone, brothers. That's where we're at. We're in the stop the bullshit zone here. Bullshit stops at the door. We don't even let it in. We don't even answer the door. That's what I'm trying to tell you, brothers and sisters. I don't even answer the door. I don't even read your bullshit. I don't even answer the door. So you can ring the bell all you want. I don't even answer it. In fact, I don't even hear it because I got it on silence. Only intelligent people, right, know the code to make it ring. Move on, brothers and sisters. Okay, let's give me a chance, give me a break here because I gotta. Moving too quickly again. I've been fighting this my sound all week. This is okay, there we go. Now we're moving. The Lord's Day, brothers and sisters. See, now we're in the Lord's Day in 2020. Lord's Day. First of the plagues. CC 19, 2019, 400 years. First plague, we're a plague that will kill the firstborn, which means the elderly, and pass over us. Exactly what it did. So why are you wearing a mask, Farrakhan? Can't even control it. You didn't even speak to it 7 months later. I told you before it happened. Liars, all before me were lies and thieves. The great day of the Lord is near, and it's not near anymore, it's here. Near and coming very quickly. Listen, the day of the Lord, in it, the warriors cry out bitterly. The warriors, who's the warriors? The warriors, this world life. See, those fighting for this American dream. Fight for America, fight for this bullshit. Reality. They're going to cry out bitterly. Because they found that weapons mean nothing. Nothing. Greater pressure overcomes lower pressure no matter what. Their strength was in their discipline. That's the real power. Discipline is real. They have none. America's lost all discipline. Look, they free fall. They're in free fall. Everything goes now. That's what said it would be in Sodom and Gomorrah. Everything goes. That shows. See, when you understand, we have wisdom. You understand. That means they're in self-destruct. If they was applying righteousness and discipline, then we might fear them because they have their power. They have no power. Their power is declining every day. Everything's falling apart. Look at this weather. Oh, Farrakhan, you got that one? Watch the weather. For what? What are you watching the weather for, Farrakhan? Watch the weather. What are you watching it for? You ever ask that question? Watch the weather for what? What are you watching it for? What are we looking for? See the weather, okay, what's supposed to happen? You didn't see this one, did you? Mighty wind. Read the 6th chapter in your Revelations. Right? 6th seal. Mighty wind. Somebody said earthquake. Shake by mighty wind. See? That's what's hitting America right now. A mighty wind, which will precede the war in heaven. A mighty wind. And it's raging across America right now. Over 2/3 of Americans are under storm watch, in danger. Never seen anything like it in my lifetime. I'm 73 years old. Be 74 pretty soon, next month. A few days. And they say it's supposed to persist into the end of the year. We're at the time, brothers and sisters. 50,000 years away, now we're here. And we don't want, even if some of the minds try to sneak in, it's not going to work. Because the pressure that we're about to put you under, only the righteous, the best, the elect can handle it. Achieve harmonic motion, see, because you can't handle that kind of pressure. That's why you got the so-called democracy and all this crap. See, it's falling apart before your eyes. Where's going right in America since 2020? Actually, before that, but where's going right? Tell me one thing is going right. For you, it's going right for us. Your destruction, but for you, nothing has gone right. Every day is one climb after another. It's like the scripture said, I'm paraphrasing, right? One run to the man, hey man, just before he could finish talking, someone come with something worse news. Before he finish, someone come with worse news. I'm gonna find the verse that speaks to that, right? That's what it'd be like. Every time they come, man, damn, is there ain't no good news? Is there any good news? Maybe the only good news is the last one that comes say, hey man, ain't nobody come bad news after him, but it ain't gonna be no you after him. Move on, brothers and sisters. Okay, here we go. We'll start in 1948. In 1948. Now, 1948, that's the starting point we're going to start from. Okay? Now, I'm going back to 1,000-year dark ages. That's a very powerful. Read chapter 20 very carefully, brothers and sisters. That's the history. That's why I said he went out to deceive the whole world, because it's mentioned in chapter 20. Because what they see in the whole about what's chapter 20 itself. That's a great deception itself. Because that's their history. That's not millennial future. That's the 1,000-year pit they was in. The same ones that come out of the pit weren't going to go after the witnesses to come out of the abyss. They say it's Gog and Magog. They say Magog is about to be destroyed right now. When they attack Israel, they call it Russia. That's wrong. Because that's true. Then how can he come back alive again 1,000 in the millennia if he's dead now? That's the whole. But anyway, that's their history. The resurrection of Abraham's Islamic empire. Oh, they don't want you to know that. They want you to know that Mecca and Medina and the pilgrimage, all that stuff was already set by Abraham before Prophet Muhammad was even born. He didn't come and create any of that stuff. All he did was resurrected. That's all he did. Resurrected. That'll say resurrection. See? So that and that resurrection forced the Europeans into the dark age for 1,000 years. So if you understand that, then you understand. As they come out, they will cover the whole world. They didn't even know about who's covering the whole world, who's controlling the whole world, who's the only one in your whole history ever done that. Europeans, Gog and Magog. And see the whole world for a season. And then they'll go after people that locked them up to begin with. The Arabs, they would surround the holy city, then they would be destroyed. Bring fire out of heaven in the sight of men. Those cruise missiles and those hellfire missiles, it's all there, brothers and sisters. But they won't. They'll see. Even if the ones that see it can't say it because they can't bring themselves to see how wicked and evil they are. Because we, the true Abraham, who are they? What does that mean to them? That means that go insane. Their mind gets crushed because they're evil, wicked, and their doom is the only thing that they can look forward to. And they can't bring themselves. You mean God's a nigger? Because if we choose Abraham, then God's black. He's original. God's a nigger. You're going to hear that cry in a minute, brothers and sisters. Because they're going to make war against God. They're already making God declare war on us 500 years ago. And now you got these Negro busting around him right now. Oh, he's smoking master, marrying master, loving master. Oh, I know Abe call him bro. Willful ignorance is a price to pay for it. Now we know it's a lot of you ignorant because of lack of knowledge, because people are blocking it. See, we got a solution for you. See, we got a solution for you. We're here to bring you home if you want to go home. So we understand you. See, we're not criticizing you, we're not accusing you, because you are brothers and sisters, and you submitted. And now I'm here to make sure you receive the reward that you already paid for. But you have to accept it. Nobody's going to force it on you, brothers and sisters. So here we go, 1948. 1948, they said false Israel. The counter what Elijah Muhammad said, because he said we're true to Abraham. Because see, just a few days ago, before 1948, they was burning those people up. They was most hated people on the planet, especially in the European country, even in America. They was hated. But then Elijah Muhammad was saying that we choose Abraham, and so that was a solid claim. It was more than a claim, it was a fact. It had the proof. We got the history. And they couldn't have that because it gets back to God's a nigger. We can't be a chosen people, because if they are, who are we? So they had to set false Israel. The government had to do it, because if the government knew, they couldn't have to tell the people that. These people want to pretend they're holy and pure with all evil. Everything they've done since for the last 5 years has been total evil, genocide, murder, rape. Look what they've done to the whole planet. They spread rape, murder, and disease in every place they went. Under the banner of the cross. These Negro busts kissing the cross. I love the cross. I love Jesus. All this kind of stuff. You got to be a fool to go along with that one. Because, oh, well, they freed us. Who put you in? Who enslaved you? It was the cross. Who was raping you with a cross around your neck? Them. Who had you sit outside church? Well, they call you nigga inside the church, said you were 3/5 human. Anyway, 1948. So he set this up. But the scripture tells us that false Israel, right? It'll be a star that rises in the east. At the same time, be the birth of the Christ. Antichrist, Christ, that come in the same time. That's what it's all about, brothers and sisters. See? This is all about. Both came at the same time. So you find the Christ, Son of Man, right? He would be, his conception would be the same time as theirs, because that's what it tells you in Scripture. So you can't make that up. So go back and look and find when they came in, is this 1948? This Son of Man conception would be the same time. Can't fake that one. Well, someone will try to fake it. Okay, then 1975, right? 1975. Hold on, brothers and sisters. 1975. Okay, Elijah Muhammad departs. Right? So I'm not taking it from Time Master, I'm not sure, but I could take it from there, but I'm taking it from there because, anyway, he departs. So that's what we're showing here. Elijah departs. So if Elias and Elijah, right? Elias is Farrakhan, right? So I'm not going into that kind of detail here. Anyway, he departs. This is the angel key, brothers and sisters. This is the key to unlocking the angel. I give it to you freely. See, I don't have to argue with you. See, they come and talk this stuff, but nobody's come and show me I was wrong yet. And I give you the key to figure it out. So you can take the key and say, okay, here's the key. So what are your excuse? I'm not coming to tell you, a preacher, oh, you just got to accept what I say. I'm giving you the means to prove it for yourself. I'm giving you the means to prove what I say for yourself. That's why you have no excuse. You have no excuse when you ride for the judgment, brothers. Say, wait, hold it. I didn't believe. Well, didn't he give you the key? Because you couldn't have checked it out and see if it was right or wrong? Oh, well, okay. Oh, well, whatever. I give you the key. I ain't like Sheffield O'Donnell and T.J. Jakes and all these people. Farrakhan's philosophy and stuff. Here's the key that I'm working with. You can take the key and unlock the door and see if there's anything in that door or not. Now, if you don't take the key and look, don't tell me there ain't nothing behind the door when you had the key to look. Because that's what you're going to be asked. Hey, didn't you have the key to look? Yeah, why did? Oh, well, okay, well, you didn't give a damn about your life, so why should we? You didn't give a damn about your life. You didn't give a F about your life, so why in the hell should we? Think about it. So you follow Sheffield O'Donnell and J.D. and Farrakhan, so you go with them. Why you stop following them now? I say, falling away first. Farrakhan, he wants to flip the switch. Switch the script, right? Flip the script, right? So, oh no, I'm exposing who Satan is, right? So now is a falling away. No, be not deceived. It says it very clearly. The falling away would come first. That's falling away because they did. Farrakhan along with Wallace destroyed the Nation of Islam. They got rid of it. It wasn't exist anymore. They called something called the Belialians. That's a fact. So it couldn't nothing would happen but fall away because there wasn't any Nation of Islam to exist, except for a few brothers that came and tried to hold it up in the background. So that's what happened. The falling away came first. That's where it says the angel key. Falling away come first. And then the son of perdition was set in Elijah's seat. That's Farrakhan. Then he said Elijah's seat. He didn't get to portion of Elijah's spirit. I'm not going to that. Right? But he said in Elijah's seat. He said it was set there 42 years. 1980, when he came back. 42 years, that's this year. He's finished. He finished. So if he makes it into next year, something's wrong with that prophecy, ain't it? 42 years. It's the 42nd year. He deceived the saints. He make war with the saints. So such and stuff is so clear, bro. It says ABC. Because if you know why you claim that you're saints, that means he's gonna make war with you. So you say Elijah made war with you? He made you saints. So someone would come after him, a mouth. That's the only thing Aaron was ever known for was his mouth. That would deceive you and overcome you, make war with you for 42 years. So if that was not Farrakhan, it means you got 42 years of hell waiting for you, don't you? But he tells you just the end. So he must be the son of perdition that made war with you, the one they talk about in Daniel also. With his mouth. Until Suleiman came, who the Lord would right? So the Lord would consume him with the spirit of his mouth and destroy with the brightness of his coming. That's what's happening right now. The Farrakhan is going down. He's in free fall. Everything's falling apart over there. There's about to be a great rebellion. They're going to walk away from him in a few more days. It's already happening now, actually. And then 1990, we're talking special years. 1990, that's when he broke the seals. That's also the time or the end of the witnesses. Because remember, they started in 1948 also. They would start witnessing in 1948 for 42 years. Which would bring them down to 1990. And that's when they would be slain by the beast that rose up from the abyss. Remember chapter 20? Written in America. Same time Suleiman would break the seals just before that happens. That's what's happening here, brothers and sisters. See? It says it was in the right hand, right? And one sat on the throne. The one sat on the throne was Satan, brothers and sisters. It's not God. They got everything messed up. It's like the first one chapter when he says Son of Man. And he says, like the Son of Man. You throw the like part out? If he's like, that means similar, but he's not. He's not. If he's like, he's not. Same thing here. Right? Said the one sat on the throne, he had the book where he wrote the book, he didn't understand what the book says, because no one in heavens or earth or under earth except the Lamb could figure that book out. So that means no one, the person on the throne, he's in one of those places, ain't he? And you get a translation, it says a lion throne, because it is. Like lie, when you lie with your mouth. So that's Satan sitting on the throne. That's how they deceive. They don't know anything about these books. They deceive, they don't even understand who's on the throne. They can't distinguish between God and Satan. We can distinguish because, like Jesus said, know them by their works. So what are your works, America? What are your works, Britain? What are your works? What are your works? False Israel? What are your works? Said, know them by their works. So what are their works? Tell me their works are good. Negro butts. Demons, tell me how their works are good. Tell me when their works were good. Tell me. Because if that's the way Jesus rolls, if that's the works Jesus upholds and goes with, then what the hell, what the effing problem you got with Satan? What problem you possibly have with Satan? That's where Jesus rolls. What possible problem could you have? Like I said, if Satan and Belshazzar and Beelzebub and Dracula and all of them came over here instead of Columbus and his horde, what could they have done that Columbus and the people that came after the Europeans didn't do? So you know who they are. But you demons, we know you have no choice. We don't want you. And you Negro butts, you've been trained to be ignorant. Don't listen to anything anybody says black. So when you see it, oh, okay, your ears closed down. But willful ignorance, you'll pay a price for it, brothers and sisters, because we do have a thing called tribulations. We do have something called tribulations. I'm trying to save you from it if I can. That's for you worthy. So we don't want everybody. We come to save those that already paid the price if they want to be saved. Nobody's going to force anything on you. It's a free gift. We're not going to force it on you. So I'm going to taste the book, right? And that's the end of also end of the 2 witnesses 42-year reign, right? So now they've been cast down. America, Britain, and false sisters taking control of the Middle East. That's what that is. Right? Gog and Magog take heavens by force. Iraq war. What said they would do? That's why it had to be a war in heaven to kick them out. How did they get in there? They had to make war to get in, and they had to take war to get them out. How did they get into heaven? Heaven can't be beyond the sun, moon, and stars, because how did they get in there? How did they get in there? Okay, and then Obama, right? He comes on the scene. He's one riding that white horse, 2008, riding the white horse with a bow and a crown. You understand that? You can't understand that, brothers and sisters. You understand? So Obama comes on the scene. He's all over scripture. Belshazzar, he's all over it. You just don't know it. You're going to see him bright up in vivid color in a few more days. Because he's all over scriptures. Right? The 7, he's the 8th of the 7. Right? He's 8th of the 7. Right? Chapter 17. Right? See? Anyway. He comes and he sets up the... He's the one to say, I will set my throne. He's the one riding a white horse and 6 on the first seal. See, he's the one they call Lucifer, archangel. Call him the son of the morning, right? Star of the morning. He said he wanted to be like the Most High God. I didn't say he wasn't righteous. He said he rebelled. He wanted to take. He saw opening. He wanted to be the king. So I'd be like the Most High God. I set my throne in the far north. What are you talking about the far north? He ain't talking about like past. They tell you, well, it's got to be north of Jerusalem. No, if you north, right? Say you're in Siberia, that's north of Jerusalem, right? What if you in America? That's far north, ain't it? It's still not far north. See, because he said he went for a conquer and a conquer. Two conquests to make. He already made one. He sets up the JCPOA. We'll see that in a minute. See, that stuff don't mean anything to you in scripture, but it does. It just don't mean anything to you. And so JCPOA, just before he gets out of office, right? And at the same time, that when Suleiman would make his first approach to the NOI, and they reject him. Story of Jonah, but we're not going to go to that here, brothers and sisters. So JCPOA, joint JCPOA, plan of action, right? So, and it says that's when they're thrown down, the witnesses are thrown down and put on the foot of nations for 3.5 years, 42 months. Okay. So that would occur in 2015-7. That's very important because, brothers and sisters, it says no one knows the exact day and time, but matter of fact, I'm himself to follow. He's David, Suleiman, his son, Solomon. But he knows the time. He's close. He just don't know exact day and time. See? And one of the problems is an angel is you don't have a starting point. Because where your starting point? If you use this as a starting point, right? But the rest of it is that would make everything happen this month, between this and next month, the war. But the problem is you can't pin down the starting point. If you use this as a starting point of the whole of it, right? Then you got the 3.5 years after this. Then you got the 6 months. Now put you in right in this time period right now. And you got that heavy wind blowing. So we'll see, brothers and sisters. I took time to put this together, brothers and sisters. So try to get you on board to understand. I just won't be saying I wasn't here on duty, on post, getting this information to you. If those you calculators out there, use this as a starting point. Because that throws up, because when you get to the end of the JCPOA, it's not exactly, unless you include the whole period of the sanctions, because it actually didn't go into force. I think it's 2018, May somewhere, June, somewhere around there. But it actually didn't fully go into force to around November, December, when sanctions were back being reinstated. So there you got that period right there. You got, what day you use. But if you use this, because that don't make the exact 3.5 time you cancel it, unless you include that part where it actually go into effect. That's one of the problems there. But then Daniel's got a corrective for a verse in there, because it says in the middle of the week. Now, if you go that, then that solves that problem. Because it said in the middle of the week, it will be canceled. The agreement will be canceled, which a week would be 7 years. So 3.5 years after this, right, would put you where? 3.5 years after this, 2018, it put you around November of this, November of 2018. But Trump did it like around the middle of the year of 2018. But it didn't actually go into effect. The sanction actually go into effect, right? He said it, but the effect go into effect around about, so that puts you around about November, December of 2018, which would put you right in sync with this if you use this as a time frame and take not the time he actually canceled it, but time that it took to be the cancellation to take effect. So it's complicated. And so everything after everything else failed, it seemed like the last chance of coming anywhere near close to that time period. Anyway, we know we're close. We know we're close, brothers and sisters. It's primarily for those that study in the angel. It's for their benefit, but it's for everybody's benefit. Primarily it is because most people don't understand what we're talking about unless you understand the key. Okay. And, oops. And this is 2018. This is someone that's rejected, right? By the NOI. And that's when he takes and starts just teaching to the general brother and sister Lazarus. Just focus on teaching Lazarus. That's elect. Okay? He's elect. Okay. So let's continue here, brothers and sisters. And then 2018, right? That's what I'm saying, 2018, 7. I think I got the previous one. I may have got the previous one wrong. Let's check that again. The date wrong date in there. Yes, that's the wrong date, brothers and sisters. The previous one. That should be 2016. I caught myself one error. He's rejected 2016. Okay, not 2018. So that's one error, brothers and sisters. Okay. Then, right, this what gets back to Daniel. It says in the middle of the week. So in the middle of that 7-year period started from 2015, right, 7th month. See, and it said in the middle of the week that'd be 3.5 years later. But it's the middle of the week, it doesn't say precisely, so it's somewhere in that period of time, right, which would have been the time that Trump broke the agreement after about approximately 3.5 years. That's when he broke the agreement. So that agreement would be broken after in the middle of the week. As JCPOA. And as a result of being broken, right, Iran starts increasing. Now the question is, the question that's come in the last few days, that Iran may already have nuclear weapons. Now I said that a couple of years ago. Now all my presentations out there, unless they got rid of them, right? Now I mentioned it, I said it's too late. They have more. They have them already, but I'm not claiming that. I'm not claiming that, brothers and sisters. I said I predicted it. I'm not claiming it. I'm just saying I didn't mention it, right? I didn't mention it as a fact. But my opinion was at the time, right? They already have them, and now it's coming out now that they may have them. They already have nuclear weapons. They don't need them. They got Master Muhammad, whether they know it or not. At any rate, that's again, I'm not claiming that I predicted that. Right? I didn't base it. If I did, I didn't do it on scripture. Just my opinion, right? For other reasons. And now it's coming out that they may have nuclear weapons. Advanced ones. They're saying they're giving nuclear weapons, advanced nuclear weapons to Russia. I'm not sure why they would do that, because Russia has advanced nuclear weapons. So it's a question. So I'm not taking credit for that. At any rate, now it's a wind blowing because Iran is 3.5 years, and they're going to come, it said 3.5, right? So 3.5 years, they're going to arrive at a certain position. See, because when they say they were 42 years under the foot of nations, they were 24 years, right? Allowed not to be buried. There was 42 years, right? Ministering, right? Witnessing. But in this case, it takes 3.5 years to get the spirit. So they're moving. It's a wind blowing, right? But it's also corresponding to the wind we're seeing right now during this time. See, that's where I look at it, because you got the sealed Bible, the unsealed Bible, and you got the hints in there. So I'm gonna leave that like that. Anyway, the wind's blowing. See, that'll put them at 2022, right? In fact, they start increasing uranium. That's putting pressure on America and false Israel because they claiming that they don't have the bomb, but they can't allow them to get the bomb, and I can understand because it would be an existential threat. Because if they got the bomb, that would neutralize false Israel's advantage, and then they'd be reduced to having to fight a ground war with attrition, which they couldn't possibly win because they outnumber like about 50, at least 20 to 1. People who are motivated now since they've had 70 years, 72 years, 74, 73 years of oppression by these people. So now they're putting pressure. What's going on right now? Wind blowing. See, they're talking about the sixth seal. See, the wind blew, intense, it's great winds. Somebody say, right, that's going to cause the fig tree. Now most people agree that false Israel represents, right, the olive tree. Not the olive tree, the fig tree rather. So the figs would be American Britain, if you understand, right, the angel key. So figs going to be blown out of their position because it's wind. Now, as wind is also the sheer moving up, because they're the two witnesses, but could also be this wind is blowing across, because all these things are going to happen very soon, bro. This is for the next 6 days at best, worse. My opinion is going to happen very soon. I believe it like that. But at worst, 60 more days. What can I tell you, brothers? Master from my nose, because everything is in place. Wars, rumors of wars. Nothing happening good in America. Everything's falling apart. Every day it get worse news. Anyway, that's what's happening right now. So they're under pressure right now because they can't allow Iran to have nuclear weapons. Now, that's aside from what I told you earlier, they may already have them. But they claim they don't have them, so we know. But false Israel, I said they don't have them also. So that's the calculus they make in there, that's up to them. But anyway, they can't let this be known, let this happen. So it means they got to go to war, stop it. They say they're only days away. So you put two and two, add two together. They say only days away from doing this. That means they would, not in Ukraine. Oh, that's going to blow up when we have Armageddon, but it's not going to blow up because of Ukraine. It's going to blow up because of what happened in the Middle East. What happened in the Middle East is going to happen because of the sign of Jonah. Okay? And that's called all this back to the angel. All the way back to the angel again. So this is the war. It was a silence. Silence in heaven. So there's 6 months silence. And that's almost over. In a way, talking about it, right? Because it's almost over. Maybe over already, but once it happens, then that's when the war in heaven breaks out. And so I did some calculations there, brothers and sisters. But again, I don't know exact time. I don't need to know, brothers and sisters. I know we're days away. And I'm not in any pain, a little anxious after 30-some years talking to you, brothers and sisters. You know, I can't wait till these devils are gone. Then the war in heaven. Now, this is going to take place. Now, what's going to inspire this? Sign of Jonah. Sign of Jonah. I didn't really show that here. Maybe I'm doing the redux. Sign of Jonah. Because it says at that point, that's when Suleiman's and Mark, that's when the Nation of Islam comes to him, defying Farrakhan, rejecting Farrakhan. They come to him, which represents their unity, which they can't have, a reemergence of Elijah's army, right? With the 4 winds that will also cause, and also imminent unity of Lazarus. Because that's what sign of Jonah means. It means Lazarus is alarm for Lazarus to rise. Put it that way. The unity of Elijah's army, the Levites, right? Rejected the demons are coming together That's the alarm. Now wake up Lazarus. Put that away. And so when they see it, and the alarm is about to go off. In fact, the alarm is going off. Because when that happens, the alarm is going off. You know, alarm, it goes about 4 or 5 minutes then. But once they reject fire con, that's alarm. And now that's waking up Lazarus. They're coming together. And so they can't have that. And that's when they attack us immediately. But the point is, Master, I'm looking at too, he knows that he has to move before they do, or they'll wipe us out. So he triggers the war in the Middle East. He goes to war first, because he still got protected. See, because they also going to take out not just us, but they're going to take out Iran also, because they understand that they're part of our nation. It's so much they understand that you don't understand, brothers and sisters. All this, they're planning. That's why he's sitting over there right now. They got troops in Syria and troops. Why you got those troops over there? Because they know the story. They know that's Farah's elect. They got them, and they got set to take you out here. So they was stood by the dress ready to devour the child as soon as born. Can they be born today? They stand by to devour them and us at the same time. That's what Master Muhammad takes them out right away. And Suleiman's here to make sure you flee, right? So you don't, that's why he's telling you this information right now and protect you. And then you got the two prophets, right? They're there to shorten that time period. To bring fire and hell, H-I-A-L, right, down on Gog and Magog. To give you some protection. All this coming together, brothers and sisters. Sign Jonah. Every hell breaks loose. And the war in the Middle East, that's what triggers Armageddon. Let's go on, brothers and sisters. There it is. So, Master Farah Muhammad's wrath, right? So he defeats them. Michael's angels go to war with the dragon's angels. They defeat Gog and Magog and false Israel, right? They kick them out of heaven. One heaven. Kick them out, right? They're defeated. And then that's what that wind blow I'm telling you about. Now the figs, because the figs, that's Gog and Magog, American Britain. They're thrown out. See? That's what's going on right there. That's when Babylon falls, right? Another great city, if chapter 18 was thrown into the sea, the death represents the seas also. We understand, brothers and sisters. And then, right, that leaves false Israel under siege. So you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, the destruction. Now, why don't they read that verse? Because they tell you, well, when they attack false Israel, Jesus is going to save them the last minute. Salvation, no. Redemption, no. It says, when you see Jerusalem, who controls Jerusalem? Jerusalem is the capital of who? So when you see surrounded by armies, it says destruction is near. Now it's redemption, destruction. That's what you're about to see in a few more days, brothers and sisters. Abomination of desolation, stand in a place that should not be. They should not be there, because we're the true seed of Abraham. And when we return, we're going to turn to Greater Arabia, not to Palestine. That's what true seed returns to Greater Arabia. It tells you specifically, not to Palestine, because they're fake. They stand in a place that should not be. Faking, stealing our identity. They have stolen our identity. And that triggers a famine, because when the war breaks out there, the Shia, Iran, Syria has total control of the Middle East, total control of oil and everything else. That means America's cut off. Europe is cut off. Europe is totally cut off. That's the only source they have right now is they can't get to America, because America can't get there in time, and they can't fly it over. So the only source they have is the Middle East, and that's cut off because they was helping America in their battle, right? In the war of heaven. They're totally cut off. And in extreme cold. Only source of oil they can have is Russia. So they had to make peace with Russia, turn against America. because America will be at war with Russia. And there's going to be no oil. And they're going to need the oil for that war. They have confiscated with them all because they already Strategic Petroleum Reserve, SPR. Biden's already squirreled that away, given it away, so now they don't have that. So if you have food on the farms, it doesn't matter because it can't get to you. It's going to be total economic collapse, total famine. Total famine, which will lead to cannibalism because it's total famine. There'll be no food available. Even if you got $1 billion, you won't be able to buy it because there won't be none. It says in the very beginning of the first few days of it, people pay astronomical amount of money just for bird dung, bird shit. That's what it says. And for a ass's a donkey's head, how much meat is on that? That's the first couple of days. Then the money be thrown in the streets because there won't be any food at all. There'll be no electricity, no gain, none of that stuff. All cut off, total famine, but mostly a famine of food. And these people cannot go without food for more than a couple of days, not even a couple of days, probably a couple of hours. That's why I tell you to flee, brothers and sisters. When you see bombing destination, you got to recognize where it is. Because if you pause, you're going to die. You have to know where it is up front. That's why I'm telling you. You didn't know what the bombing destination was before I told you. That's what you see when you see Jerusalem army. That flee. Because you're not fleeing from the army, you're not fleeing from the police force, because it takes some time to get there. You're fleeing from your neighbor, because they're going to eat you. It's going to be a time of total famine. They already tell you got oil crisis right now with oil from the Middle East. What happens if it cut off totally? What's happened, brothers and sisters? And the main target is America. And that's the prophet Ahmed. He's releasing those two of the winds to help you as they're attacking to eat you. Plus the military, they will come after you too. Not to eat you, but to help you, to throw you into the river. That's what it said, throw into the river. That means that war, that 200 million man army during that war. Over in Europe and then finally in Asia. Because they want to help you fight, want you to help them fight. And some of you fools enough to do it. Okay? I say, flee. Flee. Flee for your lives. So you can't go back in the house and get your baby, anything. If you're in the house, take them out with you. But if you're out, you can't go back and get them because it's going to be a next door neighbor, bro. Sis, why you tell flee like that? They're going to eat you. You're 3/5 human. That means you can be edible. You're edible. It's in their constitution. Somebody said love you so much. How come they never take it out? So if they listen, that's the first thing they want to do, right? It says extreme flee, extreme famine, and all black folks come together. Okay? The whole nation's about to come together. The Shia, that's right behind us. We're on the way. But first we got to get rid of those demons. We all come together. And then we have a war between us. The demons against us. Read Exodus. When Elijah returned, right? He says, who is with me? Those still, right? With the teaching of Elijah, was separated from Aaron's followers. All Aaron's followers was destroyed. What's happening here, brothers and sisters? Flee. And we have to kick them out. They all come together, that's the harvest, and we separate them out. See? And this is Armageddon, this is doing Armageddon. That's what Armageddon, a European war. We isolate all that, because they will spread that war all over the world. But we isolate it to just Europe. That fire, they got enough fire to spread the whole world, they burn the whole world up. We isolate it to just Europe. See, that's Armageddon. It's a European war, I've been telling you that. And those 9 plays come out, those 9 plays are aspects of the war. I got a presentation that explains it all. And that's the resurrection. Before winds have blown, the resurrection. So all black folks come together, Lazarus and everything else, and then we have to separate those demons out. That's what it says in Mark, right? Soon might come and separate the demons from the man, and then throw the demons back to the devil fathers, the swine daddies. That happens here, right? They're cast out. So we're cast out and we return home. That's when time of unprecedented trouble, when Master Mama delivers us, because we're not coming, she's not coming here, we're going there. So he delivers his elect, those in the Lamb's Book of Life. They're gone. And demons, right? That's the ark. But you know, the waters, the ark is riding on the waters. That 9 right on top, that's the ark. They're riding on the waters. So in a while, they doing tribulation because they're in the waters. Okay. Understand? And demons, they're cast out. It says they will be cast out. And because they say, oh, please don't stop tormenting me, right? Please don't make me leave the country. So cast them and fine. And that's the start, right? A demon war. It's a fight called locusts. Remember, they cast out. They're left behind here. And so they're food to be eaten. Because people are starving here. And they fight for their lives. Those try to get us to help fight, try to take the country. We said, hell no. Because 34 million of us, 17 million of them, 17 million others said, no, we out of here. So now they're fighting for their lives, also fighting to keep it being eaten and trying to take the country. That's happening there. Great famine. See? It lasts for 5 months. So locust war, they wreak havoc in America. And remember, there's no electricity, no gas, any of that kind of stuff, right? And all of them are fighting, men, women, and children. They're all in on this one. Because if they get caught, they get eaten. They cause total chaos in America for five months. Total war, like a civil war. 17 million of them against 300 million devils. That's 5 months. They're at war. They master children, though. Master don't want them. We don't want them. So therefore, and after 5 months, they're destroyed. They're defeated and eaten. So they will eat us. It says it. It says they will eat my people. They show you exactly how they would do it. They would cut you, flay you, and everything else. And then they would still be hungry. Then they start eating their own. Then they start eating their own. First they eat their pets. Then they be eating you. Then they could be their own. 5 months. It's coming, brothers and sisters. And then apocalypse. The ends of Armageddon. Right? Now I'm not going into a lot of detail here, brothers. I kind of cut this short. But the apocalypse is first. The apocalypse starts with taking out of Britain, New Zealand, Australia, all the Queen's countries. And their armies that remain come to America for the last, come to this whole hemisphere for the last battle. And that's when they get in the battle with, because as they was destroying themselves in Europe, it was isolated, that caused China and India to rise in power. That's what it talks about. You had the dragon had 7 heads and 10 horns and crowns upon his heads in chapter 13, right? And then went to the beast. And the beast has 7 heads, 10 horns also, but his crown upon his horns. It means there's a transfer of power. So now they're the powerhouse now. Because Europeans are weakening themselves, pretty much destroy themselves. Now they're powerhouse, and that's the goat in Daniel that taxed them. See, so he takes all those out first, and then he finally takes out America and all the king's armies that's here helping America. Then they take it out. That's the ram and the goat. Then once that's done, and they also have non-Islamic Africa with them. After that's done, then they go out and take out the rest of Europe. So I'm not showing all that detail here. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. I think I covered everything here, from 48 to the apocalypse, from the Christ to his conception to his victory. I'm not showing the final victory here because there's a war of latter days. I'm just taking up to the apocalypse, brothers and sisters. I think that's it. Let's look and see if I think, yeah, that's it, brothers and sisters. So just want to give you a timeline so you can look at. Because we're here now, brothers and sisters. I want anybody to say, I didn't tell you, I wouldn't tell you in advance because I'm not a Farrakhan. He give you reports after things happen. I'm telling you before they happen. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. I'm going to leave it there. A few more days, brothers and sisters. More days. 2 more days, brothers and sisters. Let's see here. Okay. Assalamu alaikum.